Good morning. It is the 22nd of February. And this is the Board of Richland County Commissioners. I'm Darrell Banks, my fellow commissioners, Cliff Mears, Tony Vero, and Rachel Troyer from our purchasing department. And Josh Hicks from maintenance. Stacy Croft is our clerk, and Andrew Keller, our administrator. Online, we have Carl Hunnell from the Richland Source.
And Al just joined.
And Al from the News Journal just came on. So first point of business is for Rachel. She has some contracts she would like to have us renew. So talk to us, Rachel.
I'm going to skip around a little bit because of Josh being here. I figured that we would just go ahead and talk about the floor care. Commercial Cleaning Enterprises have had the contract. It is a 1-year contract with 2 1-year renewals. And so we've gone through the initial contract time. So I'm asking the commissioners to renew the contract for 1 year under the same terms, conditions, and prices. And in 2023, general fund paid roughly about $51,941 towards our floor care. And that would be for the courthouse, park building, Longview, maintenance, and Peoples. And so it, I think they've done a fantastic job on our floors. They've really lasted the shine in them, and I don't have any issues with the floor care at all. Josh?
They've done well. They came in and done some extra in places they weren't.
I have a question on so we're renewing, this is the first of several renewals.
Mhm.
So the contract will be for 1 year, 12 months, and then 5 days.
That was because it was, when it was bid, we weren't at a complete end of the month. So we added on, or wait a minute,
Wouldn't the renewal just be 1 year and the initial would be?
the initial was for the 1 year. Let me see, hang on for a second. Let me look at this.
Then I would think when you first signed it, it would be that extra 5 days. And then the renewals would be for a period of 1 year. So are you sure the renewal is for 1 year?
The renewal is for 1 year. That is correct. Yes.
Because you say the contract will be for 1, so that would seem to indicate moving forward.
Yes.
That's why I was trying to follow the date.
Yeah, we were 5 days away from it being, or we had to add an additional 5 days to the initial contract. So, but the actual renewal is 1 year. We always want to keep everything from a beginning of the month to an end of the month. But if there is, any, like a contractor decides to get out of something, or we cancel a contract or whatever, we try to make the next contract so that, again, it starts at the beginning of a month, ends at the end of a month. It's just easier
So
and
did the initial contract call for the 5 days?
did,
Okay, so then
yes,
the renewal would just be for a year.
1 year, yes. And it will be from March 1st through of this year through February 28th, 2025.
Good question for each. I looked at that one spot in Longview on the conference room. See if they can get that out.
They went out and they tried to do
Did it improve it?
and it helped a little bit, but it lightened it, so
Better, but
not going
Yeah,
better.
yeah,
but not
Longview
going.
carpet is, you're talking about the carpet.
In the
Yeah,
conference
that
room.
is. Yeah, there's just no hope for it at this point in time. Yeah, and when they see something like that, through the cleaning contract, they will try to spot scrub right then if they see that there's coffee spilled or whatever. They'll spot scrub it, but that doesn't always get it.
and that one's probably been there a while.
Yes.
I'd ask.
A motion to approve floor contract for 1 year.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Banks?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow?
Yes.
Commissioner Mears?
Great.
We're going to go with the gasoline. And this contract is with Inglefield Oil Company. We can use any of stations that Inglefield owns, which is the BP Duke and Duchess stations. Some people get things confused and they like to try to use the gas station down on the corner of Illinois and 430 because it is a BP, but it's actually a 7-Eleven. So it's not owned by Inglefield, which they own the Duke and Duchess stations. With this contract, it is a really easy way you can figure out, you know, how much you're saving because in the contract, it's your listed price minus 11 cents. And that's what our savings is 11 cents on each gallon at the, you know, whatever the price is from the pump. But of course, we do not pay for federal taxes for the gasoline. So
Isn't that an Englefield oil station right by our maintenance garage? Just north of town by the railroad tracks.
no, that
Well-
is, it used to be Sensemeyer and now it's
Relodyne now,
Relodyne, yeah.
but the one at 13 and 30 is a Duke and Dutch.
Yes,
But not that one by our garage.
that one, no.
Convenient because it's right there.
It, well, I mean,
Used to, long time ago. That
Yeah.
was that was the only place to go.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, that was the only location. So when we switched to Englefield, they could go anywhere in the county
yes.
that has the.
And we always give out site, pardon me?
County and state.
Yeah, throughout the
Sheriff's
state
Department.
and yeah. So we always give out the sites, a list of sites that they can use throughout the whole entire state. We give that to the departments because we do have some people that travel outside of our little area, and it also lists all of the diesel fuel pumps as well. So, you know, anybody that has a diesel truck, they know exactly in our area where they can fuel up. New Hope actually uses the gas station right there at the corner of Main and 30. So yeah, they use that all the time for their buses. And so it's easy in and out and they don't have any issues with that, with their diesel fuel. So it's a pretty busy little station. But with this contract, it is a 2-year contract. And the initial term is up as of April 30th. And so we would like to renew with Inglefield Oil for 1 year. So the renewal date would be May 1st, 2024 through April 30th, 2025.
You know, motion to approve the gasoline contract as Rachel stated.
so moved.
Second,
Thanks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
And just to mention so that if Al or Carl is interested, in 2023, we spent $360,284.70 with Inglefield Oil. A lot of gas, a lot of gas.
Diesel.
Yes,
Doesn't include the engineers, right?
that does not include the engineers now. But it does include, because Commissioner Vickers was asking, because I should give you guys the Exhibit A. Mainly just so you guys can kind of see who participates in the gasoline contracts. Now, each department or each entity, they pay for their own gasoline. So this is even general fund. But Village of Belleville, they participate in it. Ontario participates in it. Springfield Township, they participate in it. You know, so we have a lot of entities that can potentially use this contract and use it.
The engineers are not part of it,
No, they are not.
but they're on the attachment A.
Because they are allowed to. So if he ever changes his mind and he wants to participate in it, then he can. We always add the engineers.
Why doesn't he?
They have bulk tanks.
Yeah, they have tanks on site.
They have bulk tanks on site.
Well, how do they fill them?
Gas companies
State.
Yeah.
can fill.
I believe that they use the
They do
state
a
contract.
contract.
Fill won't come out or doesn't come out.
I believe Inglefield, they handle
Not better.
also.
They probably got a better price than what we're getting.
Yeah, we're doing it at the pump. They're doing it on site. So whoever's coming in bulk, coming in and filling up the tanks.
And I think they use the state contract for that. I'm almost positive that they do. Yes, and they do, so if they run any off-road equipment, and then they actually can get the state, part of the state tax reimbursed to them. So it's probably easier for them to know how much they're spending in like their tractors and stuff like that. Cause those tractors, the lawnmowers are not going to be on the road. So they're not taxed for that gas for that. So that's a little bit of a savings. And so they probably are able to, judge like how much they
Makes sense.
turn into the state for that.
Thanks for the clarification.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know a lot about it because I don't deal with that part of it. I just know that they will turn that in for reimbursement. Yes. Okay, our postage renewal. This is a service contract. And why I bring that up is because it's different than a lot of our other contracts where we are saving money from, the average person, such as like the gasoline, we save 11 cents below what everybody else pays. With the service contract, our savings is that we do not have to contract with a Pitney Bowes or any other company that has a postage machines. It is extremely expensive to rent them, because you not only rent the machine, also have to pay for their ink, you have to pay for the weightage. I mean, it's a big
Maintenance.
yes, maintenance. You always have a maintenance agreement. Those maintenance agreements are very expensive. We have looked into the possibility of a mailroom in the past and it would have never have saved us money to have that. So that's why we went out and we actually contracted for this service. And, years ago, it was with another company, Discount Mail, and now we're with Sun Graphics. When we got with them, there was no hiccups, nothing. It just, everything went smoothly. They've been fantastic to work with on this. They pick up our mail. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to post stamps. We do nothing. We don't have to think about
But
that.
the rate includes some kind of a labor increment, no?
Absolutely, yes, yes. So, so I'll just give you one example. First class mail, which is a good portion of our mail. The rates, of course, increased again in January. So if you go to buy a stamp, it's 68 cents. For us, we are paying, or with the increase, we will be paying, Sun Graphics 80 cents per first class mail. So that's a 12-cent difference between the 68 and the 80 cents that we pay. But in that 12 cents, and I don't know if you guys have ever paid attention to the big trays that young man carries out of our building, that's a lot. And so they they put that into, so it's manpower putting that into the Pitney Bowes machines. The machines are weighing them, they're stamping them, they're putting all the postage on, and then they take it from their facility over on Longview and they take it to the post office. So downtown, the Main Street Post Office or Diamond Street Post Office. And then they actually go into another section of the mail or the post office that we don't see. And that's where they take it. But one of the biggest things is our certified mail. Clerk of courts, they are still required by law to get the green card back. And the postage or the post office, they want to get rid of those green cards so bad and just do electronic. But the state of Ohio will not or has not changed the way they are accepting the certified mail. So certified mail is very expensive because we have to get back the green cards. If we didn't have to get back the green cards, the electronic signature, it would probably save us, I think it was about $1.20 per piece of mail. But not only is it certified, but it's also called restricted mail because the person that it's to has to sign for it. It can't be your mother, your brother, or somebody else. It has to be you. So that makes it even more expensive. And that is also a lot of our bulk mail. There's a lot more time involved with Sun Graphic to actually process that mail, because each one of those cards, it has to be torn off, it has to be stamped. So there's a lot more to it than just it gets to the post office. That's it. And then they deliver it back to us. So they're sorting it and they're delivering all that back to us. So, if we were just doing it ourselves, it'd be $15.30. And they're asking $16.13. So that can kind of show you like the average of what they're being paid for this service. To me, it's the best thing in the world because we're not paying our employees to do it. It's not worth it. Not at all. Yes.
Just changed ownership.
We did change ownership.
Any difference in the service?
No, not at all. We had, at one point in time, they had a new person coming in and picking up the mail. There was, he said something, somebody overheard something, whatever, and I received a phone call and I called Sun Graphic right away and said, okay, this was said, somebody overheard it. And they took immediate action. They said, they apologized and they said that will never happen again. They have been, like I said, spot on, no hiccups. Mail just continues to run. And I don't have to think about it and I don't have to carry it because.
Okay, any questions? And I would entertain a motion for the metered mail contract with Sun Graphics.
So moved.
Second,
Banks,
yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Okay. Al, you have any questions for Rachel or Josh while they're here?
Fingers aren't working.
No, I don't. Rachel does a nice job of explaining things fairly well and detailed.
Thank you.
Carl, any questions?
Just a couple. Rachel, where's Commercial Floor Care from? Are they from Mansfield?
Their office is in Galleon.
Yeah. And you said 2023, the expense, the payment to Englefield Oil was $360,284 for gas and diesel. I'm just curious, which department was the biggest user?
Our biggest user is the Sheriff's Department with New Hope running a close second.
What was that second one? I'm sorry.
New Hope.
Okay, that's what I had. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right.
Thank you very much.
We get a motion to certify the 20th.
So moved.
Second.
Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Can we approve the requisitions?
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes. And motion, can we get one for approving the weekly transfers and appropriation request?
Second.
Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Okay, we have a request for an overweight and overdimensional vehicle permit. To be for two vehicles, coming into Mansfield. Bring some things, some equipment to the Norfolk Southern Railroad located in Mansfield.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes,
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
okay. Then we have a utility permit application. And this is for South Illinois Avenue and Mansfield Lucas Road, County Road 300. And put in ALPR cameras and be in the right of way.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
And we have a resolution for membership in the Southwestern Ohio Educational Purchasing Council. And this is to allow us to purchase things through them.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
Rivera,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes. Okay. Now the sheriff's cruiser equipment discussion. We agreed to pay buy 6 new vehicles. And allocated also to statewide emergency products where we can take the 6 cruisers, paint them, put the electric or the equipment in them and lights and all that.
we didn't allocate it yet.
We didn't allocate it yet.
That request came in.
So I just want to make sure I'm following this correctly. I know we allocated ARPA to purchase the 6 vehicles. Now they're obviously asking for the money to equip them, correct?
Correct.
Curious as to why we didn't do that during the budget process. I tried to go through my notes. Do you guys remember?
I thought it was included. I just kind of
So did
thought.
I mean, I knew we had to equip them, so obviously you don't buy cruisers without equip them.
432. But
Presented supposedly the cost of the cruisers and the equipment to spec them out.
that is in the budget, correct?
Well, we took it out
No.
of the budget because we were going to pay for at least some of that with ARPA funds.
Right.
We paid $274 total between ARPA and LITCF. So as Stacy and I were discussing it, we figured this as
I'm sure it was,
ARPA and capital projects, it probably would be simpler to use capital projects.
and I know it was the intent. I did not find anywhere, we took it out
Hey,
of,
I was looking at the same thing going,
we didn't say, oh, put the extra 150 in reinvestment or ARPA, or we just didn't discuss it. I don't think they brought it up. We didn't discuss it, like I said, obviously it's needed. But
Yeah, they're no good without it.
right,
Same type of, but as we approved it.
I just wanted to make sure that, because Captain Sweat, when he sent me that $100,000 quote, said, and how much more do I have left? And I didn't want to commit anything till you guys agreed that you want to do that whole 432, or what I'm telling him.
And what's the ARPA split on this?
They bought.
How much of the 432 is ARPA?
we did 274,000, but we split it within the ARPA funds between our LATC, which is 351, and the revenue loss, which is 348.
It wasn't revenue.
Revenue loss.
Oh, yeah.
Split it.
Yeah, okay.
We split it and it was paid out of Jim Shorkey. So I guess we just didn't talk about the equipment, right?
Right.
It wasn't, well, the equipment wasn't really presented.
Right.
They're not blaming anyone. It just wasn't presented.
Motion to pay to equip the 6 cruisers out of capital fund or our Richland reinvestment fund.
The whole,
Whatever the remaining balance to equip the 6 cruisers, which looking at the supply chain issues, we should get in 2092.
okay,
Did I say that out loud?
have the cruisers, I think. It's the equipment now, so.
Yeah, we got like the 24 cruisers, but then didn't get the 1 year.
Fees, I don't know if we got the 22.
Right, so
Right.
how I'm looking at it is we will get cruisers when we get cruisers. So motion,
1 second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Arrow,
yes.
Premiers.
Okay, any questions, gentlemen? Carl, you go first this time.
Oh, I got a lot of questions about vehicles. Go back through the numbers real quick. November of last year, I believe commissioners approved 472,000 total in ARPA to get 6 Dodge Durango police pursuit vehicles from Jim Shorkey over in Pennsylvania. Is that correct?
I don't show that to be correct.
We can
Okay.
get you here in a second, Carl. We
Oh,
made
I'm
several cruiser purchases and it gets confusing after a while.
I'm looking at a story that no one ever questioned the accuracy of from November 2nd that says county commissioners okay 472 in ARPA for 6 sheriff's vehicles from Jim Shorkey.
Hold on. So that's for the 23, well.
Oh.
No, I show we only approved, we may have approved the 472, but we only have. I think that's exactly why we're discussing it, is the total to equip them. And we didn't approve the full 472 in ARPA. We approved 274,664 for the 2024 cruisers out of Jim Shorkey. So you're
Okay.
right in the sense that we approved it, but we didn't use all of ARPA for that.
Okay, so you used 274 in ARPA
Yep.
and the rest came out of,
Capital today.
so. Okay, how much okay. Well, I'm gonna have to quit relying upon my own stories, I guess, because I'll have to go back and look at your minutes, because I
The
guarantee
total's not changing, Carl.
it
But
was
it's not-
472 in ARPA that was approved November 2nd of 2023.
That must have been the number then, Carl. I mean, in all fairness.
That probably sounds right.
Must be the
Yeah.
number Captain Sweat had mentioned, but that was a ballpark.
Okay,
In our official,
Right.
our
Budget
board
season in
is
December.
274, but that was the ballpark that was put out by the sheriff's office. And this 100,000 is going toward that.
okay, so the
It's
roughly
actually
270.
200,000, Andrew.
Exactly.
It's actually several hundred thousand of Richland reimbursement.
No, Andrew was talking about the 100,000 we approved for today.
There's a $100,000 bill that's.
Yeah. Correct.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go back again just for a moment. 274 or what was the number that was actually spent to buy the 6 cruisers using ARPA funds?
274,164.
Okay, and the 6 cruisers arrive, or they're ready to be delivered, and now we have to equip them, and how much are you spending in capital to equip them?
$100,488.
And that money is coming out of ARPA, or that money's coming out of capital?
Capital.
Okay, but that was not, go ahead, Andrew.
And Captain Sweat can speak more accurately, but I do not believe that represents all of the equipment for these cruisers. I hope it does, but we would have to verify with Captain Sweat. There may be, I expect there's more forthcoming because he did inquire about the balance available.
Right, I know back in November, he said they would have to be upfitted and that the total price per vehicle would be around $72,000.
Right.
Okay. All right, well, that kind of explains it. Thank you very much. I just question my own math sometimes because I am a journalist doing math, so I thank you.
You're welcome. Al, you have any questions?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure. My fingers just aren't working. I thought I did, and now I'm not sure, so I'll pass on it and go with what you just said in that last bit about what money is going where.
Okay. Well, I don't think we're going to recess for a minute. We'll just hang right in here.
And Missy are out there, so.
Hey, Jenny. Tell them we're ready when they.
Jenny and Missy, you can come in.
Yeah. Thanks. Hello.
Have been joined by our dog warden. Steve,
Hello.
and his the risk management, and you guys want to talk about grant?
Yes.
He's
And
gonna do most of the talking. I'm just gonna sit here for moral support. All right, well, did you guys have a chance to look over a little bit of the history that I sent? It's wordy.
You have to speak up. I've got a hearing impairment from being out at the dog warden's office. Yes, I did read that.
Okay, so what we're proposing is we found a company called Acoustical Solutions. And they will put, they're kind of like baffles, or maybe they are considered baffles. They're calling them panels. Flush against the ceiling, and then at the top of the walls near the ceiling to help reduce the sound in the dog shelter. And the point of that is to alleviate stress on the employees, the volunteers, and the dogs to make them happier, more adoptable. So we want to apply for a grant from BWC. They'll pay up to $40,000, but we pay a quarter of the cost. And we're not looking to do the whole kennel first. So we're just looking at main kennel and West Wing.
Our two loudest areas.
So I guess I'll see if you guys have any questions. What do we need to answer here?
So the question I had, I've been there, and it's loud, but is it an OSHA like penalty or finding, or, it's outside? I come from a factory background, and
Right.
you reach a certain level, it's a hazard and you've got to wear ear protection and so on, but
You're on the money, and it is. Now, we're covered under PERP, the Public Employer Risk Reduction Program, which mirrors OSHA. Exactly. OSHA just doesn't have jurisdiction over us. But you'll see in anything that I've sent over that there are OSHA requirements. And it's the same thing. But yes, we have to wear hearing protection if the kennel attendants are in there for, more than just a minute or so. I think you guys do have a policy about that. And
you
have to,
protection if you're going in that area.
Sound canceling, earphones, yeah.
not visitors, but people who would spend a lot of time
Yeah.
in there.
The employees that are cleaning.
And then we're at the point where we might have to enter into a hearing conservation program. If we don't do this, I'm not sure. The BWC hasn't said, yes, you have to do this right now, or PERP hasn't said that you have to do this right now, because they know we're looking into a way to avoid the situation. Part of a hearing conservation program is getting hearing tests for the kennel attendants every year. That's something we have to consider. And it's not a penalty. We've not been penalized. Nobody's down our backs, nothing like that.
It's proactive.
It's, yes, being proactive.
We've all been there and we all know how loud it is. It is extremely loud.
Marilyn and I, years ago, were standing even closer than this and we couldn't hear each other.
No one wants to hear her anyway.
That's when they
Got
were,
hearing protection on whenever she's around.
I'm sorry.
Shot at her.
Maybe it's a good thing I was talking over you, right?
The only one that wants to hear from, right?
So it's at whatever decibels it is. Did they give you a reading? With this installation, it will reduce it to whatever decibel.
Can't give us a guarantee, but they said that it should be low enough that it'll be an acceptable level to BWC. Now, they said that their dogs are variables, so it's not like in a factory where that this machine produces this much sound. Dogs are unpredictable, so they can't give us guarantees. But we vetted them against other counties. We've talked to other counties who have used them. BWC has been happy with the results that they've provided. In other places, they've done like doggy daycares and doggy spas, and obviously other kennels. They've done schools, gymnasiums, churches, auditoriums. So they've dealt with the program before too.
75% of it would be paid for.
By BWC. So we would be asking for, I don't think I printed what I sent you.
7,000 some dollars.
Is that what it was?
You're talking about the main kennel and the West Wing only right now? 7,000 something.
Yeah.
72.
Thought I was prepared. That's what I did prepare.
Your budget is maxed out.
I don't have a budget for anything like this. And I don't know that that's in the kennels or the dog shelters budget.
I know you struggle for keep the budget, keep all the dogs.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Total that I see from your cover letter would be 7,301 and 75 cents.
That sounds right, yeah. And just so you know, too, when we looked at this before, we didn't only look at baffles. We had a company that's local that wanted to provide perforated metal panels, which I made the same face, Cliff. And they said that it,
Off of metal.
exactly, and they said that it does work efficiently because of the perforations, but they were significantly more expensive. We've talked about curtains, acoustical curtains that could be added, but the fears with putting anything down low is that the dogs could just tear them up. And the moisture that they would be exposed to from hosing down the kennels, hosing down the floors. We looked at one shelter that used a cellulose spray insulation up in their ceiling.
You can never clean that stuff.
No. So the humidity in there could cause mold and it just, I don't think it'd be a good, a couple feet if that. They're not gonna, they know that we don't want people to be touching them. But the walls are high.
Yeah, the walls are very high.
Well, I'd make a motion to approve up to 70, what I say, $7,400 to pay for our portion of the baffles, assuming we get the grant.
We'd have to pay for the full amount up front and then request reimbursement. So keep that in mind. But thank you.
Motion to do so.
Second.
And we're paying it from where?
Personal reinvestment.
Same thing, Stacy, where I need to get with you to, with the check. Thank you.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes. So the total upfront cost then would be $29,207.
I'm sorry, I didn't print that.
Okay,
I printed, you see everything else.
you're looking at main kennel and West Wing, that's what it would total.
Okay. All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay.
I think there's money well invested. It's so loud, and I think it's really, I almost, I would say,
I mean, for people to go back there because of how loud it is.
My kids are terrified of it.
hopefully I'm not connecting the wrong dots, but you know, the next order of business is a resignation from, is that because it's so loud?
No, because it's a deputy position, so she's not confined back to the kennels, so,
I didn't know about that.
yeah, we just segued right into it.
Okay.
So, yeah, so she's not back in the kennels, so she's not exposed to
Okay,
that.
no, it's certainly the right thing to do. That can be unnerving. I don't know if you get used to it.
Yes, you do, but it makes it incredibly difficult if you're trying to take people back there to even communicate with them because you're
Your
shouting at them
volunteers.
and everything like that. And so it is,
I
and-
can't imagine the effect it would have on the dogs.
right. And then the dogs are constantly at a higher level because all the barking all the time. So it's just noisy and overwhelming, especially for the dogs that we get in that are already scared and.
Let's hope this does the trick.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Don't go anywhere yet, Jenny.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going into Missy's thing and I don't want to.
I think Carl has a question.
Oh, sure.
Carl, ask your question.
Thank you very much, Daryl. What's kind of, when the shelter's been measured for decibels? I think one study I read said sound levels in animal shelters regularly exceed 100 decibels. What's been the level there at the shelter there?
We were in the 80s and we might have hit low 90s. Let me find this. So we were in the high 80s and 90s. We did not exceed 100.
Okay, yeah, and in preparation, when I saw this on the agenda today, I looked through a couple of studies, even one that talks about housing of pigs and how noisy that can be. But Missy, in addition to the impact on humans, how much or what's the impact when dogs that close to each other bark in terms of making other dogs bark and it just kind of builds on itself?
It raises the cortisol levels, so the stress levels in the dogs, which impacts their behavior, their overall demeanor. The longer they're exposed to it, the longer it takes for them to decompress from a shelter environment. So overall, it has a pretty negative effect on the dogs.
And obviously, if you have prospective folks coming in who want to adopt a dog, it's a tough environment to go through to evaluate the dogs that are there when you can't hear yourself think.
Correct.
And I don't know if you heard me say, a couple of years ago, we were out there to get our dog tags, and my kids were afraid of the kennels. I thought it would be nice to walk them through and let them see the dogs. They were early elementary school at that point, and they just checked out. They said no.
It's loud, Carl.
I've been out there a couple of times, and I only have one dog, and she's noisy as heck. So, all right, that's what I had. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for the questions.
Al, you have any questions?
Yeah, I've got one. You were talking about potential problems with the cellulose and cleaning it and the exposure to moisture for like the curtains and stuff. How is this thing that you're buying different from that? Are you still going to have the same problems?
We've been told that we're not. So it's a poly covering on it. So anything just wipes down, dust should just be able to, it's wipeable, not that we're going to be in the ceilings, but they're rated for high moisture environments as well. We talked about that in depth with the vendors when we discussed options, that it needs to withstand humidity. And they've put these things in indoor water parks, hotels that have pools, things like that.
Okay, and that's fine, because I remember, that shelter had a total rebuild because some metal walls years ago just rusted out because of moisture. And I mean, that's long before Missy's, but several dog wardens ago.
The one that was built in the 90s, or was it the old one?
Don't remember which, but I remember there was an issue because, when you hose down the kennels and the walls were old enough and there were some rusting problems with, metal walls.
Oh, no. I
They
bet
had
that's,
concrete walls at the old one too.
did they?
Mhm.
Huh,
Maybe it could have been kennels though, that rusted out.
yeah.
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 Yeah, it might have been kennels, but I mean, did some extensive rebuilding, so that didn't happen. That's why the idea of maintenance came to mind, because I remember there was big expense to redo that. Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, Missy, you have Deputy Sharon
Shannon. Riser,
Shannon, okay. Yes,
effective March 5th. So she will be working, her last shift is March 4th, which is Monday. So
I are going to be working through maybe possible staffing changes. She's gonna sit down and discuss, just conduct an exit interview, see what the situation is. One of the things we're finding out is we think that part-time deputies enjoy the job. It's the on-call that makes things difficult at all hours, and we only have two. I'm not ready to say, hey, do we want to look at 3 part-time deputies? Because again, we are thin, but if you do 3-time deputies, can you spread it out over equal hours, or is there more to the story? So Missy, Chelsea, and I will be sitting down to discuss it, but we at least feel it's still best to, well, first accept the resignation and then approve posting of another deputy just to get the ball rolling. And if we need to call an audible while the posting is out there, we'll do that.
you're not gonna do the posting till you.
We are gonna do the posting.
Yeah.
Takes a while to hire someone, and we know in this current market, and we didn't want to put a halt on that.
All right,
Hasn't Shannon been with you a while?
almost 2 years. Yeah, it would have been 2 years in June, I believe, June or July.
Okay, well, and we have a motion to accept the resignation with thank you for service. And also to post the new position.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Okay. Any, gentlemen, either one of you have any questions?
Yeah, just clicked in my head. Missy, what's the current dog population out there now? And has the sound problem been exacerbated by having a kind of a large number of dogs for a while?
Yeah, the sound problems significantly increased. We are currently at 99 dogs. Lower than what we have been
Yeah.
at, but still significantly higher than our comfortable level.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
99 dogs barking.
Yes.
Thank you.
Really glad you're addressing it, you know.
We appreciate your support. It's been on our minds literally as long as Missy's been here.
Yeah. You got,
And the grant disappeared, so that's why
yeah.
it was taken away for a while
Dane actually, I think, started the process
Yeah,
with you and
yeah.
then.
and got the headphones.
Yep. So we did that step.
Okay, any other business to come for the board? Hearing none, we will stand adjourned at 10:16.
All right.